Hey, what's up guys? Houston here. Look, I'm going to talk about how you can actually start a business using the Navy Federal Platinum credit card, okay? And what I'm going to do, I'm going to give you two ways of how to join Navy Federal. Then I'm also going to explain to you about Navy Federal's internal score, because that's very important. I'm also going to tell you about the two ways you can actually liquidate the Navy Federal Platinum credit card, and I'm going to tell you about two ways that you can actually get the card, all right? And I'm also going to talk about the 5 easiest businesses to help you get qualified for business funding through Navy Federal, okay? So talking about how to join, all right? So there are two ways that I think is the easiest and the less strenuous way to join, all right? One of them is by you letting Navy Federal know that, hey, you may have a deceased father or grandfather or relative, usually a deceased father or grandfather or parent that was in the military but they're deceased, okay? Or if you have a family member that's alive and they're able to verify that that's a family member and stuff, they'll let you in that way. But when it comes to military, deceased family member that's military, what I mean is that they would want to see that DD-214 form, all right? And somebody that's watching the video, make sure that I'm correct on that. It is the DD-214, all right? That's one way. The second way, say that you're living with a roommate, okay, and that roommate shares the same address with you, and they have a family member that's able to help them get into Navy Federal. Because you all share the same address, you have a higher probability or possibility, excuse me, using the wrong word, higher possibility that because you all share the same address at the same household, that Navy Federal will allow you to become a member as well. Okay, now I'm going to tell you guys this because it's been happening and it's going to continue to happen. Guys, please do not buy an access code off of the market, okay? If you're not related to somebody or a friend that's sharing the same address with you, do not buy that access code. The reason is not only will Navy Federal shut their account down, they'll shut yours down, and if they issue you a credit card, they can actually take legal action against you, all right? So that's the reason that you don't want to just buy an access code from anybody, all right? Now, once you get into Navy Federal, the first thing you want to do is set up about 4 or 5 accounts, okay? And this is going to help your internal score. Your internal score is very important, especially when you're trying to get funding and credit cards. Now, with the internal score, it goes from 100 up to 450, all right? So in order to get the internal score, if you're able to, you want to set up direct deposit with Navy Federal. That's number one. If you're not able to set up direct deposit, make sure you have the highest checking account, which is with them, which is the flagship checking account. Then make sure you open up a savings account. Now, if you have bad credit, challenging credit, then you want to make sure you get the N Rewards card, which is $200. You can start with $200. Then after 6 months of good on-time payment, is going to turn into a $2,000 unsecured card, okay? Then do the pledge loan. Now, some people ask, well, how many pledge loans should I have? You only need 1 pledge loan, but you also, if you just want to solidify things, I would say the maximum is 2 pledge loans, but 1 is good enough, all right? Now, of course, they have like CDs and market accounts, but since you're going to be using this Navy Federal Platinum card to start a business, then you want to open up a business checking account as well, all right? And like I said, I'm going to tell you some of the easiest businesses to actually start with. Now, one of the key things to do when you have your account open with Navy Federal, make sure that you're doing weekly deposits, especially in the savings account and in the business checking account, okay? Make sure. Now, one of the things I was telling someone, or in a separate video, I was telling people that with Navy Federal, you actually need 2 credit scores to get business funding from there, okay? So that's your regular credit score from Experian, Equifax, TransUnion, and they also look at the internal score as well. So you definitely have to have two scores with them. Now, that being said, in reference to getting the Navy Federal Platinum cards, two ways to get it. You can apply for it when you first join, and sometimes if you have at least a 660 or above credit score, you may qualify for that card. All right. Now, the other way is, say that you start out with Navy Federal and they gave you the N rewards, which is the security card, and they converted over to the regular rewards card. That's the green card, okay? Since that's the green card, what you can do is also do a product exchange, and that will avoid a hard pull on your credit. Okay, so that's how you actually can get the card, and those are two ways you can actually get the card. Now, let's talk about in terms of why you want this card. The reason you want this card is because it charges 0 interest on purchases and balance transfers for the first 12 months, okay? And we can deep dive into some other strategies after that 12 months to make sure that you're able to position yourself to get access to more funding. Okay, so I'll make a separate video for that. Now, that being said, being able to have the card, like I said, we're going to talk about liquidating the card. But one of the things that I wanted to talk about that a lot of people get hung up on is the right type of business. Okay, so some of the easiest businesses you can start that Navy Federal will approve you for: catering business, delivery business, e-commerce business. Okay, e-commerce business is definitely a good one. Now, again, on the e-commerce business, it can't be anything that's related to like CBD oil, cannabis, and stuff like that. You don't want that type of e-commerce business, okay? Now, the t-shirt business is a booming business. They accept as retail because of clothing and stuff like that. Then you have janitorial business. Even if you're just selling janitorial supplies and stuff, janitorial business is a good one. And also, like a marketing company. So if you're a person that's into affiliate marketing or marketing for other clients and stuff, that's also a good business. Now, in reference to once you get the card and you need to liquidate, usually Navy Federal with their credit cards, they will allow you to do a cash advance, usually up to about 50%. All right. Now, if you need to use all the money, then what I would suggest you do, and you can do this, once you get your credit card, Navy Federal has a prepaid card called the Go card, okay? And you can transfer the balance onto that card, all right? Now, I'm going to tell you something. When you transfer the balance of your credit card onto this card, your credit score is going to take a dive because you're over that. You may, depending on how much you use, especially if you're utilizing over that 30%. So if they gave you a $25,000 credit card, then you want to make sure that you like 30% of that, okay? But if you need to use most of it, because you may have a rehab you need to do, or you may have a pop-up kitchen, or what do you call it, a food truck or something like that, that you're trying to start, and you need supplies and equipment and stuff. So that's a way to do it. Also, with liquidating the credit card, if you sign up with plastic, okay, then another way so that you don't have to take the cash advance, you can use one of your vendors that say that, again, that you're buying supplies and stuff, and so you don't have the cash, you can have plastic give them the check. Sometimes they'll take, granted they will take your credit card, okay, but in terms of if the vendor says, hey, if you give me a check, I'll give you a bigger discount, then that may be a better option because they probably don't want the transactional fees from the credit card. But if you're able to send them over a check, then that probably be a better option because one, it may save you money on products and services. At the same time, they're getting all of their money. So that's two ways you can actually liquidate the card, all right? Now, for those of you that may have questions about how to set up your LLC or your business, or you may have questions on how to get business credit funding and personal credit funding, or even removing negative items off of your credit, click the link in the description and schedule one-on-one consultation.